Good morning, humans of planet Earth. It is the GCS. I'm not Gareth Cliff. The lovely lady with me
Oh,
is Lebang.
really? You're not Gareth Cliff?
I'm I've got
Look at that.
I'm Gareth Cliff adjacent,
Oh, that's what that is. Okay.
Yeah,
Good
that's what
good
they
morning,
call it.
Mbulelo.
How are you doing there, Lebang?
I'm doing good. I'm happy. I'm excited, except like I'm in the office this morning, and when I got here, I realized that I left my cell phone at home. So I'm just like, oh man, I don't have my phone. I'm like fidgety. You know when you feel like something is just not on you and it should be?
No,
So
because
that's what
I'm
that's what's
always on
happening.
time. I'm always on time. I don't know what you mean. So
Okay, sir.
so
But
let's go through it. What happened? Why did you leave your phone at home? No, let's make it a teaching moment, for all of
but okay,
us.
but I wasn't late as well.
So what happened?
So
Well,
I just know.
let's not. Don't worry about that. Let's go with the what happened with the cell phone.
Okay,
Is
so
you
I,
got
I
up?
got
You've
up,
obviously got
I
a rugby
washed,
team of kids. They all pulling your hair.
you know the drill. So I was like, you know what?
Okay.
Let me just exit the house and just get to the office on time. And
Yeah.
that's what I did. Upon arrival, I realized that I don't have my phone. So I'm like, ah, you know what? I left it in this bed, and the person that's sleeping in this bed is 2 years old. So if anybody calls or whatever, whatever. But the reason why I'm telling you is because as I opened up my laptop, I realized like messages were still coming in and I'm able to respond. So the way technology is set up, even though my phone's not here, I'm still
Connected.
connected. So I feel
Connected.
good. I feel great, you know?
Yeah. And listen, for those of you at home, obviously today is Friday. In the Republic of South Africa, it's certainly Friday, and it'll become Friday wherever you are, or has been Friday already, wherever else you are in the world. We
Mm,
all know what Fridays actually are, right? It's the day where the fake meeting gets booked at around sort of 2:30. I think everybody's mastered this for every boss who, like, I think all bosses know, and we just kind of keep it kind of happy where everyone's got that meeting that's 30 minutes away from work. It just
mm.
happens to be at O'Hagan's and it's to close the big deal. So shout out to everybody who's already 2 glasses of wine in by 3 o'clock. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, shout out. It's a very, very like it's a real thing now more than ever. Because aren't we just at that time of the year where we're just like tired almost? Like we've been grinding the entire year. We're just doing this now. So like let December just be upon us, please.
Now, Lebang, we couldn't live more opposite lives, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
have been, people are saying end of the year, da da da. You know, is
Mm,
I want to quickly ask you about living with a family in these times. And if you are
for
just
sure.
joining us, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be on planet Earth. Gareth Cliff is not here. He is somewhere getting his back tickled. Um,
Oh, oh.
well, that's what he loves. Gareth has always said he would pay someone to tickle his back. So I imagine that's where he is now. Gareth is away. He will be back next week at some stage. I think it's Thursday. Gareth will be back. So it'll be
Mm,
myself and the team for a couple of days. But
mm.
Lebang, for December, what's it like to spend it with kids? Because for me, I only have to think of what do I want to do, and that's exactly what's happening.
Mm.
Whereas for you, what sort of dynamics do moms and dads deal with? I have always wondered.
So So the very, very nice thing about December is literally as soon as the kids like close for holidays, we ship them off to granny, to grandpa. Honestly, like I've never had a December with my kids, like with them every single day, because I've never needed to. It's their one opportunity to just get shipped off to their other parents who are my parents or my partner's parents, and they get to deal with them. It literally becomes like that kind of vibe where now I've got like some alone time or I've got some quiet time with my partner or we can actually do just catch up on, the union that we're building. And the kids
Mm.
are literally living their best lives at granny and grandpa's place. They're eating chocolates every day. They freaking running around like headless chickens. It's literally a 24/7 party for them. And then we catch up with them around Christmas time and then yeah, back to reality. So I can't say I have to experience 4 children during December. Thank the Lord.
And do you ever think to yourself, oh no, my kids are gone,
Mm,
other kids exist, now they're going to
mm.
be filling my kids' minds with stuff? Or do you just think, hey, let these rugrats get out there and play in the mud and punch each other in the face or whatever they
It
do?
it de- definitely does happen, and it's out of my control. So, for example, the last time, I think during Easter, I'd shipped my kids off to Mpumalanga to my partner's parents' place, and my kid, who is so unfamiliar with like the rural areas, ended up getting like into an altercation with a cow. And
And to be clear, that's not your mother-in-law. So you're not. That's not your mother-in-law you're referring to. You're
no,
actually
no.
referring to a real bovine.
Oh my word, Mbulelo.
I'm just
Leigh-Ann,
checking.
good morning.
Hi. Sorry, guys. I see there's some comments presuming that I was sleeping in. I woke up to this enormous flapping noise in my house. Couldn't figure out what it was. And there was a pigeon stuck in my lounge with three very hungry, early morning hungry, you know, that very hungry, with three cats staring up at it, waiting for it to make a mistake. So I had to sort that out, but I'm here now. So yes, morning. Please continue.
Oh,
No,
my
I
word.
mean you got a war of the worlds going on there. Lebang's
Right?
shipping her, Lebang's shipping her children off to go and fight with bovine creatures. And to be clear, I want to clear it up. She is not saying her mother-in-law's a cow. This is a real
Dude.
incident with a child and a cow.
Dude,
Lebang,
my-
what are you talking about?
Listen, my mother-in-law is like so dope. She's one of the best. So let's not even go up that alley. What I'm saying is like my kid, my 7-year-old, has been with me like his entire life. And we've literally been here in the northern suburbs. So he doesn't really have any experience with like a lot of things that aren't in the northern suburbs. You know, we didn't really travel a lot. I think we just went to Durban like once. So the first time I took him to my mother-in-law's place was this year in April. Shipped the kids off and he's there. Kids are speaking languages he doesn't understand. Kids look different. They behave different. Kids are running around with knives. Like, he's just like, whoa, this really is a different world. It's like every kid for himself. It's like war 24/7. So they get sent to the shops, as you know, kids do, and they run off to the shops. And then as they get to the shops, there's like a cow on the loose. So if you grow up in the rural areas and there's a cow on the loose, I think you all know to run. Just instantly run, vacate, exit.
Those beasts chase you. I've been chased.
Yeah. My kid has no idea what's going on. He's like, oh, a cow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Long story short, he ended up with like bruises and scars. And at some point it was like on top of him because he just kind of froze and was just like fascinated by this animal in front of him. Anyway, he came out okay, just, you know, some battle scars. Now he just tells people the story of him and the cow when he's at school, just to make him feel like some sort of like hotshot. And other kids are always like, oh my word, you got hit by a cow? And he goes, yeah, but it was nothing. I know he was suffering. Like,
Oh
Yeah.
man.
That is
Shame.
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's cool. Like I like that they get exposed to like, you know, different worlds and different things and different experiences. Like there's no shower, for example, in most of the houses in the rural areas, and all he knows is showers and baths. So the first thing he says is, "Mommy, where am I supposed to wash?" You know, it's little things like that. But I'm like, yeah, well, this is the real world, my boy. Go pour water from the JoJo outside. Wait for this water to boil. Get inside this little tub and scrub your bum. I like the fact that now he, you know, he has to adjust. I love it because I don't want them to give Vasco exactly. It's the Vasco, you know, exactly.
Wash your bits.
Yes, scrub your bits.
Now, Leigh-Ann, when you hear this, are you thinking to yourself, "Oh, thank God I didn't have kids," or would you want to be in the mix?
There's a lot
Tricky
to
one,
unwrap.
man.
There's a
I
lot
mean,
to unwrap.
kids are great as long as they're someone else's. How I feel,
Yeah.
but
Just absolutely number one, straight off the bat. I'm like, thank God I don't have kids. And I love watching them on TikTok, but that's the most distance that I'd like. As mentioned before, I'm a cousanti, which is a cousin aunt to my little cousin nephew. And I absolutely adore him. And he's probably he's the only child in the world I know and love. But yeah, so I'm happy to wake up to a pigeon being stalked by my 4 cats, rather than, I mean, I've been stalked and no, what's the word? It was like the bull run in Spain by a herd of cows before.
where
And
where were you?
rural, I was rurally located.
No, but both of my parents are rurally located, and I've never been stalked by a cow. And I used to go to my grandmother's house both like
Okay,
often. Like,
so I've lived next door to cows and horses and had cows in my garden, and I've lived on a farm before in very rural areas. However, completely separate to that, I was supposed to partake in a mountain bike race, but you can tell, Mbulelo, I can see already from your face, you know that I didn't partake. I was simply an
I'm not a
observer.
judgmental person. I'm not a judgmental person.
I was simply an observer. So it was Mabale and I, and Damon was actually doing the actual work on the mountain bike. But we were in the combi, which had the refreshments, so we ensured that we were well hydrated, well entertained in the combi. And it was through the Midlands of KwaZulu-Natal, and it was on dirt roads. And we pulled the combi over. We were slightly ahead of the cyclists. We pulled over and just, got station set up and ready. And we were welcomed by those rural kids that you were just talking about now, who are just so delightful, came running over and helped us set up cups and everything. And standing outside with Mabale, and the next minute we see along this very narrow cliffside, steep cliff, and just a dirt road etched into the side of it. We were parked there with the combi. And this herd of cattle started walking up this road towards us. So they had nowhere to go left or right. They had to just walk straight. Like that little rhyme that we used to sing in primary school. We walk straight. You better get out the way. If you don't get out the way, we'll kick you out the way. And they were on a mission. And all was fine. They were kind of being peaceful, and we stood to the side. And then one of the bulls decided to hump one of the cows.
Oh, wow.
Through this process. And she was not in the mood. She was not having any of it, and set off this enormous trot, which set off the whole herd, and they started running towards us. There was dust flying up. We had nowhere to go. And Mabale is now looking at me with her back to all of this, so she doesn't know what's happening. And so I know now that the only safe place is to get back into the combi.
Yeah.
That's the only way to go. It's either down the cliff, run up the hill, or get into the combi. So she still doesn't know what's going on. And I just put my hand on her back. And she's a slight woman. She's very small. And I pushed her with one hand into the combi. And I was actually pushing her out of the way. I was only thinking of myself. I wasn't doing it for her safety. She was just in the way. So I moved her out of the way, which happened to be into a place of safety. And then heifered my way back in behind her. But yes, that was the day this is why I understand why being around cows that are peaceful animals can be really tricky.
It can be dangerous stuff. Leigh-Ann, before you came on, we were discussing fake meetings happening. I just wanted to get your sort of take. I mean, are you in that business? Do you know anybody who's always got that 2:30 Friday meeting? Because I know it's fake meetings now.
Oh, you mean like where they say I can't do so and so because I've got a meeting?
Yeah, because it's Friday now. By like 2:30, guys have already had the first grolsch has already been knocked back down. And guys are on their way.
And usually we have load shedding to blame, so we can say no. I'm being load shed from 3 p.m. on Friday. So
load shed.
We can usually do that. But yeah, fake meetings, and also knowing now that I'm on Microsoft Teams with an actual business organization, I didn't realize that you are supposed to change your status as to whether you are available, busy, do not disturb, etc. And you can see people on a Friday tend to put like do not disturb or in a meeting from 3 p.m. onwards.
They should give you in an entanglement, like for that should be a cool thing, like with Jada Smith's face next to it, in an entanglement.
Oh my gosh.
That's what the situation should be there.
Like,
Um,
aren't you?
well, Martin von Furen says, I was living in Hong Kong and took my daughter with me hunting on our South Africa trip when she was 6 years old. There were there were 2 boys in our hunting group that time. I think there might be
Give
a
us
little more
more.
to that story.
Yes, Martin.
Yeah, Martin, you've left us. I mean, that's a real cliffhanger, right? That on that message.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think Martin's saying, you know, when you're from Hong Kong, which is just like make money, go to sleep at night, and you bring kids to Africa, it is a different kettle of fish. boy, oh boy, oh boy. It is. But Lebang, you were gonna say?
Geez, I completely forgot what I was gonna say. Actually,
Oh,
I was
So glad
gonna
it
say,
doesn't only happen to me.
like, you know, when you have something in your mind, you're like, oh, I was gonna say, like, aren't we like? Well, I know I'm tired of like hearing about the Smith family. It's like something happened in the past 3 weeks where people only want to talk about Will Smith and only want to talk about Jada Pinkett Smith and only like, we're tired. It's like, no, you know, let it go. Bye. Was it just me? Like, I feel like I'm suffocated.
What happened now? What happened now?
Like, I was like a week ago where Jada was like, I need to learn how to love again. And then everyone was like, yeah, you see, well, she's never loved you. You see, well, she's been wearing the pants in the relationship. And then after that, it was like, Will Smith was telling a story about he was in love with some other actress lady. It's just every week a development into this open marriage that really has nothing to do with us. I'm literally pleading to all media houses to just stop writing about Will and Jada Pinkett Smith. We are tired. Please.
Like, Will Smith said he wanted to kill his dad.
What?
You see? You see? Why do we need to know that? Why do we have access to that information? Nah.
Well, it's in his upcoming memoir, Leigh-Ann. I don't know. So his father. I mean, it's a common situation. So my first response was
what wanting to kill your dad.
No,
it's a common situation.
No, give it contextually. It makes sense
in these circumstances. Like no. So I didn't want to kill my dad. My dad was not an abusive man. In Will Smith's case, though, very abusive father, and he said, when I get strong enough, I want to kill him in and amongst other stuff. And not only will I do that, I will join Scientology and go completely loopy, and a teenager will have sex with my wife, is probably what he was thinking. What a terrible set of circumstances.
He definitely wasn't thinking the latter.
Sure, slow down, guys. What?
Right? It's so loaded.
While we slow down and have a sip, I see there was a comment that this looked like a pale ale.
Yeah, so I was going to say, that does look a little, it's a little tasty there, Leigh-Ann. What is that? German?
It's a new electrolyte vitamin C booster pack thing that you're supposed to have once a week. So that's what I'm having now.
Okay, so
and this, by the way, makes me healthy and means that I've joined the group of health.
Who knew? It's so easy, huh? Nico Kritzing says, Leigh-Ann, that looks like a pale ale. You're busy with there. No tea is served with that Mursa glass.
You're very right, Nico. And it means that I've crossed the path and I'm now one of the healthy people.
That's it. Okay. Moving the brand. And it's that easy to be healthy. Lebang, your plans for the weekend? Or are you guys doing anything interesting? I mean, South Africa's open now. Let's stop with the nonsense. We are wide open.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest with you. I have no interest in doing anything this weekend. My weekend kind of started on Wednesday. Friends of mine were having like an event. So I went out on Wednesday already. And then last night, another friend of mine had like a listening session. So I went out yesterday again. I am capped. I'm cool. I'm just going to stay indoors and be a present mother. And that's that. Well, I hope.
Like in
my mind.
Very of you.
Yeah,
like I just have to just like pull myself towards myself and just like switch off my phone.
Have a moment. Can I see your voting thumbs, guys? Just out
mine's
of
already cleaned, but I've already cleaned mine.
Okay.
Lebang didn't vote.
And
what a mess. Don't say it like that.
Leigh-Ann, look at that.
Oh, girl.
They've made a mess of your finger.
So
it goes all the way around.
Yeah, it actually dripped into the sides. So I'm at my voting station, and because attendance, as we know, generally was really low, there were only about 3 people in front of me. And I was watching the guy with the ink, and he was so bored. Oh my goodness, because this was at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon already. And I can see him slowly dipping the ink into the pot. And he's looking at me. And I think he was targeting me. He had his head tilted to the side and he was just kind of blank-faced. Anyway, got there and he went, "Come for your tattoo." Okay, which I thought was very creepy. Took my hand. He then looked me in the eyes while the brush was on my finger, and he just held it there. And I could feel the cold liquid running into my cuticles. And I was like, "Why are you being like this?" But I just took it and moved on. But yeah, I'll be marked for a long time going forward. So this weekend, that was your question. What are your plans? I'll be trying to scrub off or just paint my nails.
But here's what I don't get, right? Is it's mostly digital, right? You got to be registered on a system, right?
Yes.
For vote. Why do we need the mark on our finger? There's only one of me with my ID. What are we preventing by marking me?
Mbulelo, obviously, there was something that happened in the past where somebody tried to come back in and revote and somehow got past the digital and the crossing off and all of that. But I mean, if I was to commit voter fraud, I'd need to chop off my thumb in order to re-enter.
Yeah.
You know?
Is the thing.
3 and 4 fingers.
3 legs, 9 fingers.
That is so good, Leigh-Ann. I got to be honest with you. I would like to hear, like, oh my God, did you hear Leigh-Ann's thumb came off? Wow, what happened? She tried to vote twice. And
it's really happened, hey?
Yeah, no, listen, there's some wild stuff happening.
It's
things like
So, sorry, yeah. So I was chatting to a UK client of mine, and he said, I emailed someone on Monday and no one replied. And I said to him, oh, that's probably because Monday was a public holiday, because we were voting that day. And he went, what? You get a day off to vote?
Yeah, I'm just as shocked.
No, but I wanted to say to him, dude, and this was actually before I knew that the voter turnout was so low. I said to him, look, we deal with a lot of queuing issues, protest action, people being frog marched out of stations, fighting over ballot boxes, mob justice groups, protesters, living in a rural area way far from your voting station, or having to get back to the rural area to vote. We've got a lot of issues to deal with just to vote. It's not like just pitching up.
We deserve this day.
Underground, yeah. We don't have an underground here, which works. But actually, you know what? As much as I complain about South Africa, is we're not bad at queuing. We're actually not bad at queuing. You go to the United Kingdom, right? Let me just tell you something about those pasties, right? They are terrible at queuing. They are like, it's just, everyone's just so greedy. It's small, it's tiny. Like, we're not bad. It's slow, but we're
really
civil. Yeah, South Africans are civil because we're very conservative. We stick in our little bubble. As much as they will breathe on your neck in South Africa, they don't mind being right up against you. When we're
also used to queuing for anything.
Maybe that's why we're good at it. The best way to learn a simple task is repetition, and boy, oh boy, South Africa. But we're not bad at queuing. Let me tell you, Europeans not good at queuing. They are not good at it. I want to tell you, Germany as well, Finland not good at queuing. I grew up there. They're not good at it. I'm telling you, not bad at the sauna, but not good at queuing. So South Africa actually has a leg up on these guys. So you know what happened to me yesterday, and I think it's fantastic that I have two women with me here to be able to answer this. So I have a guy on the MKT show, right? His name's Ryan. And I'm trying to get advice from ladies because it's, on the show, it's just dudes. He's trying to move his life from, let's put it this way, from single to it's complicated. Because I don't want to say relationship, it's a little overcommittal. He's trying to take his life from I'm single to it's complicated with a lady. But then he said these magical words. He said, I want to be, with someone in a situationship but I don't respond well to feedback. And I said, oh dear Ryan, oh dear Ryan, if you're going to get a lady, if there's one thing I know about ladies, they will give you feedback and they expect that feedback immediately to be acted on. But is that just me being a guy, or what does Ryan have to do? Could you guys give me one tip to pass on to Ryan?
Firstly, is he a sports guy?
A huge one, most likely.
Yes. Yeah. No,
because then he should be used to feedback from his coach. From
no. He's not like that kind of sports guy. He's just used to. He's into sport, but he's not like from a sports background. No.
Okay, then the simplest thing I have is pretend you're a pro rugby player and imagine all the feedback you'll get from the public, from your coach, from your teammates, and think about that, and then remind yourself that it's not so difficult being in a relationship.
Has he already found this person, or?
No. He's open to the market. Ryan is currently open to the market. So I thought I'd just ask ladies, because he doesn't like taking feedback. And I said to him, all right, you're about to stay single for the rest of your life, because I've met ladies before. They are feedback central.
Yeah, look, I think if he hasn't even like found the person that he wants to get into a situationship with, then he shouldn't be overthinking anything. Let him find the person first.
Tell you the important part of the story. No. There are other factors. There are, as the ANC would say, mitigating circumstances. He's got 5 weddings coming, and one annoying thing that all relationship people do, we all know it, and if you're in a relationship you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, is that because you're in a relationship, what's wrong with Ryan? Oh my God, we should introduce him to someone. Why is he still single? He should be like us. We're the best people in the world. We're going to cure cancer, as every person in a relationship thinks. So he's under that kind of pressure now where his friends want him to come to weddings, and they're always asking him like, oh, Ryan, you have to meet this girl. You know what I mean? So now he's trying to just stop that annoying thing happening in his life.
So first of all, not all couples are like that. It just sounds like, you need better friends if your couple's friends are just telling you need to get into relationships, number one. Number two, again, like, if he hasn't found a person or whatever, he shouldn't be thinking about, oh, what is it going to be like when I do? He should probably just like take it easy, maybe start chatting to some people. It'll just feel right if it's meant to be. Maybe he'll find a person that doesn't give him too much feedback. We shouldn't put like a blanket term on a situation that doesn't even exist yet. It's like he's sort of like going to be shooting himself in the foot. Just let him take one moment at a time. If he's going to a wedding, tell him to try out Tinder. Tinder's got like some cool people that he can just take on a first date to a wedding. It's a complete stranger. There's no attachment. Take them to a wedding. They eat for free. They meet your people, whatever. After that, if you don't dig them, the end. Like, it's not a big thing. And if he's going to 5 weddings, he can take 5 different girls on a first date. I mean, it's a win-win. It's a win-win.
All right. Hey, and remember, you can comment. Please like, share, subscribe if you're joining us for the very first time. If you are new, welcome to the GCS. If you're wondering where Gareth Cliff is, he's having his back tickled in an unnamed location, and
with
he will
a feather.
Be back next week. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not one to comment on that. I don't know what he's into in terms of back tickling.
So Martin gave us the other part of that story in the comments. So he was like,
yes, please get back to that.
Please pull it up, because I'm sitting here like itching for the rest of that story, Martin. I think
and
we're talking about right. There it is.
All right. So Martin says, well, my daughter and the 2 boys were running around. On our return to Hong Kong, the police dog sniffed my daughter and went to the ground. My daughter had springbok testicles in her pocket.
Okay. So yet another cliffhanger. Am I not right?
Yeah.
Like, how did she get them? Did she just pluck them off?
So many questions.
That is incredible.
And she was 6. Oh my God.
Listen, that is insane. Because that's a situation, right? And especially, I've read stuff, and I think we've all seen shows about Hong Kong, what they like at the airport. That's not home affairs. take a ticket number. It's the system there. Listen, they are happy to get a glove on and probe right up until your esophagus.
They'll
They are
handcuff you before you can say testicles.
they are not playing around. What a situation.
Yeah.
And for a young girl as well, she doesn't know what's what. It's in a different
But-
country. They're probably speaking a sort of a Cantonese Mandarin type of vibe. There's a whole lot happening. I'm sure they accosted like, hey, stay away, move around. You know what I mean? It's a pretty serious country. Hong Kong.
Mbulelo, where is she going
Chinese,
to
but-
pick up? Where's she going to pick up Springbok testicles? Like, were they just lying
Yes.
around
Did
and
she
she just
just
put them in
pluck
her
them from
pocket?
the animal?
Did she see a Springbok and go, oh, whip? Just like snip,
she find
sniff them?
them-
Like,
Did she find them
Well,
on a
well-
cutting board somewhere? Was she in a butchery? Was
I have
someone
questions.
slaughtering?
Did you guys
There's a
not
lot- there's a lot
smell
here.
that there was like we need answers?
Rotting
I'd
meat.
prefer not to know. I want to leave it at whatever you're thinking, because kids are capable of anything. I mean, Martin probably packed them in a cooler box, he sounds like a hunter. He would have done it properly. Oh, I don't know, let's guess her name. Anna Marie thought you had plans. I have plans for you, Dad. We're going to get to Hong Kong.
So Gina's saying that she's just entering this chat and hearing like daughter Springbok testicles. What's going on? Let's just summarize what's happening and how we got here. So we're just talking about being in South Africa and really just being in places that you're not used to, and kids in December. And Martin was so kind enough to share with us that a couple of years ago, he traveled with his kid to South Africa, and they're from Hong Kong, right? And when the kids were in South Africa, they went back to Hong Kong, and when they got there, they found out that the daughter had actually, traveled with some Springbok testicles all the way across the world. So we also want to know what's going on. We also want to know.
Incredible.
In her pocket,
All right.
by the way. Just like
In her
randomly
pocket. Hey,
in her
listen.
pocket.
Some people keep $20. Some people Springbok testicles. Quite incredible. All right, let's get some headlines in the mix here. If you're into shoes, this is a thing for you. SA artist Esther Mahlangu customized a pair of now world famous, of course, Air Jordans, and her sneakers are now worth 7.5 million rand. South African artist Dr. Esther Mahlangu. So anyone can be a doctor because Jacob Zuma is a doctor. But anyway, Dr. Esther Mahlangu is making waves internationally as her work is showcased in Dubai. A pair of customized Jordan 1 sneakers painted by Dr. Mahlangu was unveiled at the Expo in 2020 Dubai. The sneakers which feature Ndebele designs hand-painted by Mahlangu using a chicken feather cost about $500,000 US. What do we think about that?
Yeah, firstly, I think Dr. Esther is iconic. She's just like done amazing work in terms of representing the Ndebele culture. Everything she touches it just looks beautiful. So now the fact that she can do her work on a freaking Air Jordan, I want that shoe, but my tax bracket won't allow me.
You ain't gonna have it.
Like, that's for sure. All I can do is just sit and admire from the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what is she a
amazing.
doctor of? Like, I don't know of her, but is she a doctor
Painting
of like,
shoes, Mbulelo.
Yeah,
Painting
Like
shoes.
she's no, she's like not doctor as in like, well, in terms of like education, I don't know, let me not lie, but I do know that her fame in inverted commas came from her ability to really draw on anything. I remember she did a whole BMW campaign where she redid the whole Ndebele look and feel and the textures and all of that on a BMW, and she's like an international sensation, like one of South Africa's better outputs. She is just like representing us.
Okay, but we must slow down on the doctor thing because it used to mean something. Like, I don't want her being a doctor of filing papers, and now it's a doctor. Like, we really do need to
No.
get things back in control. I hope she's not
Look,
like what is she, a doctor of milking cows, and now she's a doctor.
Oh
It
my
means something
gosh.
to be
Okay,
a doctor.
so
People work really
what
hard.
we're not
yeah.
gonna do is disrespect her. I think let's find out. Let's just check why she's a doctor.
Yeah. I'm not going to disrespect her, but I'm not having it
Yeah.
if she's a doctor. of,
Mbulelo,
like,
I
philosophy.
get your point, and working
Oh,
in a
There it
media
is.
newsroom.
Mhm.
What we do in the media in South Africa, and it's pretty much a worldwide practice, is we don't put the title doctor in front of anyone who's not a medical doctor.
Excellent.
Um,
Yeah.
So I thought you'd like that, just as an
I love it. I love it. Like some people do 7 years just to be called that, and some people go and study. I mean, crikey, right?
Okay,
You can't just be called a doctor.
So
But,
she
hey,
was
shout out
actually,
to Dr.
listen, she was conferred with an honorary doctorate by the University of Johannesburg.
Jesus. Okay,
there you
let's move
go.
on. All right, I'm done with it. I'm really happy. I'm so happy for her that she got all that money, but she's not a real doctor. So let's move on from that. Now, oh my God, OMG, as the kids are saying, a lady in her birthday suit, and I hope you guys have seen this video.
Oh, right? Yes. Yes.
Is it not the most electrifying thing you've ever seen? Now, I hate to be, a lot of people, well, a few people have messaged me because I'm not shy to throw the tribe's names out there. So I don't want to be tribalist, but it was in Durban. I'll leave it there for which tribe that is, right? Now,
Yeah,
was
it? Yeah. It said Strand, wasn't it? Didn't it say Strand?
Right. So Capitec Bank confirmed that the woman who stripped naked and trashed one of its branches, it was in Cape Town, had also trashed other shops.
Say something now. Say something.
Yeah, probably a closer person, which is slightly embarrassing for me, but not surprising because I've got a warning for European guys that like our ladies about closer women, but that's maybe a story for a bit later. It says, this comes after a video of the incident went viral on social media yesterday. Capitec told Mercury yesterday that it was perplexed by the matter and would try to get to the bottom of the incident. And essentially, Leigh-Ann, I mean, you're revved up about it. Maybe you can quickly tell everyone what happened. It's incredible stuff.
Yeah, so it was a woman in Strand in Cape Town who, all we have is the video. The video starts. There's no warning. There's no story. There's no beginning to the story. It starts with this naked woman behind the desks, the boarded up desks of Capitec in the middle of a branch where she'd walked in. And she is now completely naked. No panties, no bra, just shoes, just sandals. And she is letting everyone have it. She's screaming, she's fluking, and she starts taking items off of the desk and throwing them onto the floor in a rage. She's throwing desktops and staplers and everything that she can onto the floor. And everyone is quietly, as they look panicked, but they're trying to stay, on top of things, are now leaving the bank. So the customers and the people working there. As she moves from desk to desk, each worker actually gets up and starts walking out. So there is speculation that she was denied a loan from the bank and was just throwing her toys. If I can add a little bit of context from my side, or not context, but opinion.
Do you know her personally?
I've no opinion. I felt that way before. I've wanted to literally strip my mur in a bank before. I've wanted to do something crazy, and so I'm on her side. I take my hat off to her. I take off all my clothes to her.
Love it.
Okay, well, another rumor quickly here. Fundo says apparently she took a loan and paid most of it, and when she went to find out the due balance, there was literally no changes to the amount she owes. Mfundo obviously covering himself. He says, I stand to be corrected. But wow, what a situation.
I also heard there were quite a bit of rumors, but apparently she had taken out a loan for 60K and she had been paying it off for the past 4 years. And then this year when she went to, sort of like settle it or whatever, they're like, no, but you still owe us like 52,000. She was like, what? They literally fucked her. Like, that's the one rumor. The other rumor is that she's just a crazy person because she may have done the same thing at like a wimpy in the same mall or whatever. So there's speculation that could she just be like a crazy person going around messing things up, or really did Capitec do her dirty? But the real bigger thing is like, damn, isn't that like a bit sucky to see like a grown woman naked in a store losing her mind? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's suboptimal.
Yeah, let's say that.
Yeah, incredible scenes. So, Leigh-Ann, have you ever stripped naked though in a bank?
Not last week, not the week before, but the week before.
oh, all right. I
No,
mean,
so
it's just a crazy story.
the closest I've seen, the closest I've heard to something like that before, and this was not a woman who had a mission. Well, she did have a mission, but not she wasn't angry. My mom was driving home from work one day on the M1 in Johannesburg, which is the main highway, and there was standstill traffic. There were road repairs going on to the left of all of the cars and the lanes. So the municipality was there doing their stuff. They had truckloads of guys busy working on the road. And through the middle of all of these guys was a woman walking very casually with just her shoes on and not a stitch of other clothing. She had her clothes wrapped up under her arm, and she was walking like she was on a runway, parading through all of these men.
Wow.
For no apparent reason. And obviously I don't know the end to the story because it came from my mom, who was in a car, who doesn't know the end of the story. But yeah, she just felt like doing a little parade, a little body positivity march through
Now
through all
I'll
the
give
guys.
you. That's incredible. I'll give you some context as well on the story. I do have to apologize to the whole of the Zulu nation. I had suggested that it was the Zulu people that were doing that. If it's in Cape Town, it's likely a Xhosa lady. And being Xhosa myself, not shocked at all. So listen, Xhosa women, beautiful, but they do come like a bank loan with a kicker on the end, a little bit of interest, if you know what I'm saying. So look out for those.
But a spice.
That's a little inside info for you. But if you like that, do what you must. On to the next story. SA's Damon, I don't know how I'm saying his surname, Galgut, wins a prestigious Booker Prize for his novel The Promise. The winner of Britain's prestigious Booker Prize was announced Wednesday night. South African playwright and novelist David Galgut, 57, took home the top prize for his novel, The Promise, about a white family with a farmhouse outside Pretoria. Now, probably a place where Leigh-Ann would get chased by a cow. Of course, Pretoria, extremely rural still.
Rural.
Yeah, the whole of Pretoria, extremely rural. Covering the late apartheid era through Jacob Zuma's presidency, Galgut's book shows a family's growing disintegration as the country emerges into democracy. The New Yorker called it remarkable. The winner receives $68,000. Isn't it awesome to know that South Africans are still producing stuff that the world wants? And
love
he's not
hearing this stuff.
He's not Elon Musk, He's probably living in Pretoria or whatever, having to fetch his own water because Pretoria is a rural area. But that's awesome. That is awesome.
I love it. I mean, just like our Ndebele shoe doctor from earlier, and hearing this story as well. I love these things. They make me so proud.
And it's the high arts as well. It's not just like the Springboks or the Proteas. It's really the fine arts, and it's a cool thing. Like we're doing.
Amapiano.
Yeah. Now let's talk about Amapiano.
You laugh, but it's the truth. Amapiano is literally like a global sensation right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really is. Like it's being exported by like the Major League Twins, like Focalistic and DJ Maphorisa and Kabza. Literally, like it's one of the first times where South Africa, like the music industry, we're taking our genre, owning it, packaging it, and then taking it to the rest of the world. We're not waiting for the world to tell us, oh, okay, cool, that is actually nice. Whereas before we'd kind of like not believe in ourselves enough. We'd sort of like sit back and wait. Now we're saying, you know what, we are so dope. We don't care what you think. And these people are touring all the time across the globe as we speak.
We're dictating the trends, not following them, which is what I love.
100%. Yeah.
Very nice. And Lebang, maybe you could give a context for our international listeners what Amapiano is, what the vibe is there, because I actually have no clue, but I know it's a thing. Our colleague Simpiwe is super into it. She introduced me to Iplinilendile, which I didn't know about.
That was Gqom. But so Amapiano is it's a genre. It's a genre that is literally like the most true South African sound that you'll ever hear. It's like a combination of house music with like kwaito music that's just really slowed down and like played on a 45 BPM, and when you listen to it, it just sounds. It just sounds amazing because you've never heard anything like it. Like, think back to the first time when you heard a new sound that you'd never heard before. It's interesting. It's like, ooh, is this? So with Amapiano, it's like that over and over and over again. And it's phenomenal. I mean, there's a couple of international artists who themselves have tried to have Amapiano songs. And the nice thing is that they are, coming to South Africa for that kind of help and for the beats. So it really is showing the world what we are capable of. It's something just beautiful.
Onkhopotse says, Mbulelo, so white.
What?
I
Because
didn't
you
know.
didn't know.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
is,
you got,
yo.
like, within black culture, there's a competition of how black you can be, Leigh-Ann. They just want to bring you back. We'll decide what blackness means. So I love it.
What?
What am I gonna do? Pretend I know stuff I don't.
No,
I don't
there's
listen.
there's nothing wrong.
The comment should not
No,
have been
I
so
like it.
white. The comment should have been
So what?
so into sport and fitness that you weren't taking notice of other cultural stuff around you.
No,
No,
Leigh-Ann,
but
you're being too nice. That's not what it is. Mbulelo is so white. The end.
what?
Like I can't imagine how like Mbulelo is when he's in the townships. I can't imagine because he says things like, "Yeah, Amakwenya are holding back the country." Like what? Excuse me?
Yeah, no,
Like,
they
do
are.
you see this?
They're causing cholesterol, which means
Do-
they are causing cholesterol, which means our health system is under more strain. Yeah, that's exactly what they do.
Yawn. So
Hey,
anyway,
I say it how it is. I didn't say you had to like it.
No, and that's cool. Like the nice thing is that you own it and you know like where you are on the scale of like 1 to black. You're like a 3, but yeah. So
Milky.
so
No,
there's
no,
piano. There's
milkiest cup of tea.
no, it's cool. But Sitsana, what's the difference between Gom and Amapiano? Oh, okay. So Gom is from KZN. It originated in KZN in Durban. And if you remember an artist, Babes Wodumo, do you remember she had that song? What was it again? Anyway, I forgot how it goes. But she was like one of the first big stars a couple of years ago because it was again this new sound with all these drums that we really hadn't heard before that made everyone dance. So that originated in KZN, whereas Amapiano is more of like a Joburg, really the deep Kassis. So like the Pretoria Kassis, the East Rand, the Vosloorus, that's where it started, and it literally started in like people's back rooms. Like there's a sound called mzonkonko, where if you think about it, it's just like doof, 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 doof. Like when you're sitting in a shack and the shack starts to like shake, that's the mzonkonko that we speak of. So it's very layered, but the point is it's all just great music and it's all just so unique and so us. Just Google some and trust me, you'll never go back.
No, that's fantastic. And speaking of that, of having a good time, is I saw a comment just now. I can't find it now, but people want to know whether Basitsana ever got her butt plug. So I just thought that's something we must bring up. So if Basitsana is still with us, she should probably answer that. Do you guys want one more headline, or do you want to move on?
Let's do one more.
Okay.
All right.
Let's
it's
do
down to you.
Chongcha.
That's the journalist in me. I'm like, more news.
All right. We'll have one more, a gentleman called AKA. He stars alongside Lorcia Cooper and Ricky Rick in new movie Nandi, hip hop heavyweight. Now, I don't know if that's a commentary on his weight or whether the fact that he's done great work over the last decade or so. He's an absolutely brilliant musician. Hip hop heavyweight, AKA, can add actor to his resume of his latest post on Instagram. Is anything to go by. The rapper took to Instagram this week to announce that he would be making a cameo appearance in Nandi. AKA posted the trailer of the movie in which he is seen speaking to award-winning actress Lorcia Cooper. So AKA, interesting guy, hey? Obviously St. John's guy, so shout out to him going to a castle for a school, but interesting figure. I think he's always divided people in South Africa, whether his music, his persona. So I lean into his personality type, is that I like be who you are, say what you're thinking.
Yeah.
So I like that side of him. His music, I'm a little lukewarm on, but that's great. He's doing well. But I like him as a figure. Now he's doing acting. That's awesome. I like when people spread their wings. I love it.
Yeah. I won't lie. Like, if there's somebody who deserves to just like get his flowers, it's AKA. He's been so like openly a douchebag from the beginning of his days. He's never wavered from who he is. I actually interviewed him on my show on Life with Lebang a couple of weeks ago, and he's just consistently been an asshole. And that's the nice thing. Like, he's not gonna fake being like friendly with you and all of that bullshit. He's just straight up like, this is who I am. This is me. If you like it, shop. If you don't, shop. So I'm quite excited to see that movie. It's also nice to see, artists doing other things within entertainment, because as you're saying, there's the music side, but, to see if there's a bit of a chance in other aspects is cool, because how many international artists are DJs, rappers, singers, and actors and presenters? Like, they do everything. So it's nice to see that, some of our own are also tapping into that. So I'm keen to see Nandi.
Yeah, and it's nice to see him bounce back. I really hope he's bounced back from obviously a tricky year for him with all that's gone on. So that's awesome. I know I'm really, really happy for him, and long may he. Hey, much success to you. I love it when people are doing well. Vasana says she has ordered her butt plug. It is arriving on Monday. And if there's a Friday message that you want to hear, it's that, isn't it? Like, there's
when I read that, I read it as
it doesn't arrive.
I read it as I adored my butt plug. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, those are your headlines for this no politics Friday.
Oh,
so
yeah. Did you see what happened to Somizi? Like, apparently he was like.
Before we get into it, whoa. When you say Somizi, hold on.
Yes.
I just need to be very clear. He is not somebody I take seriously. He is a clown, but I enjoy going to the circus. Tell me everything. Every time I hear Somizi, okay, I need to hear everything that's happened.
So here's the tea, honey. So Somizi was booked to like appear or MC at like the grand opening of a hotel in Zim. So obviously the bag is great. They must have really like paid a lot just for him to be there. So cool. Everything's nice. You know it. As like he's literally about to prepare to go or whatever, the ZANU-PF, like the youth league, and some of the churches in Zim had written a letter to the government saying, we should not allow Somizi into this country because Somizi is a homosexual. And if he enters this country, the spirit of homosexuality will spread amongst fellow Zimbabweans. So it's chaos. Like, he's just like, oh, it's like that. Screw you, Zimbabwe. I don't need you anyway. So there's like this whole back and forth, like a bit of a ruffle with regards to whether Somizi will make it into Zimbabwe or not. Find out next week on Dragon Ball Z. I am here for this. Yeah.
Do you know how important it is that we actually read the mandates of the parties that we vote for? You know that there are parties in South Africa who want homosexuality to be banned. Mm-hmm. And to obviously remove any marriage rights, who want abortion to be banned, who want religion to trump politics in every situation. There are parties that you could have voted for this time round who believe in all of that, and how quickly that could snowball into having the mindset of an entire country like Zimbabwe. When it comes to homosexuality, it's scary.
Yeah, look, it's no politics Friday, so I don't really want to get into the politics. Here's where I want to take it, though. I do want to talk about it. Is that, do you remember that video? I think it was from Zambia, though. So I don't want Zimbabwean people catching flack for the Zambians. But do you remember the guy who was doing the video and he said, "Why are you gay?" Do you remember?
Yes.
Yes.
I imagine Somizi getting to the airport in Zimbabwe, and he gets to he goes to Better Bridge, and they say, "Where are you going?
Why are
you gay? Why are you gay?" Yeah, shout out to him. Hey, it's wow. Listen,
he's standing up for himself.
And you know what? If you let an American or like a British person know about this, is that they still think we're one country. You know, they just think, oh, it's that place Africa. Down there where all the bad stuff happens. That place there. Whereas it's such an idiosyncratic place, right? If you're in sub-Saharan Africa, if you go to Arabic North Africa, right? My mother had the displeasure of living. She liked it, but I think the displeasure of living in Egypt for 6 years. So North Africa, they don't see themselves as Africans, by the way. Like the Algerians, we had the great JJ Cornish has explained the sort of French Algerian conflict about how really they think of themselves as European, by the way. They do not. And if you think of the west of Africa, so my sister lives in the Ivory Coast, right? They are living a whole different life, right? A whole different life. My mom did some work. The head of the UN is in Kenya, right? So I was fortunate as a child to spend quite a few holidays there. And that's the east coast of Africa, by the way, from west to north is completely, you could be in different worlds, not just a different continent. The music's different, the culture's different, how they look at themselves different. They look so different, how they express themselves is so different, more slender on the east coast. The West Africans, we know they've got Mbodi. They've got that Mbodi, a completely different way, a completely different diet, tropical. You come down south, obviously, we're the worst representation of Africans in terms of looking. We're not athletic or anything. We're quite plain as South Africans, but we're different, right? Zimbabweans, Zambians, us, Mozambicans. Lebang, you're saying you're the best representation of Africa.
No.
Lebang's like, me, I'm extra.
Not even. I'm just saying, like, I'm not gonna bash my country and be like, yeah, we're not the best representation. Dog, hey, we are what we are. We are like, sure, I get, like, contextually, I get it, because there's other countries that are like, chocolatey and musky, whatever. Dude, we are who we are, and that's that. If you don't love yourself, go do that over there.
We're probably one of the most mixed countries as well. So there are a lot of people who are living the European life and thinking that they're a European. There are a lot of people who are like, and all the different cultures and tribes. You can't generalize.
Yeah, and my point was, a European or an American person might hear the story and go, "Oh my God, in America?" No. Here is, by the way, Zimbabwe is a different place. You go to Cape Town, we all know. Hey, there's no why are you gay. They say, why aren't you gay in Cape Town? Why are you not gay? Really, really super liberal in Cape Town.
Just give it a try.
I just want to say, be open to outcomes. I just want to say, South Africa does have, and I'm not just saying this. You can ask the European guys, because they always seem to come here on a 6-month visa, and 3 years later they stay here. Is we do have some of the best looking ladies in the world. So that is no lie. There is no lie.
We are like quite a cocktail. So yesterday I went to an audition for a commercial, and like I was in this line with like literally the biggest mixing pot of people I've ever been around. So like on that half of the room,
queuing nicely?
I was.
Were you queuing?
I was.
Hold on, Lebang, I'll tell you what. We're gonna take a break. That's a great teaser. I want to hear about you at the commercial. Good-looking South African ladies on the other side.
There is only one place on Cliff Central for 80s movie recommendations, obscure 80s references, 80s crushes, and it's the only place on Cliff Central with the best 80s songs you forgot how much you loved. That 80s Show, Fridays, 9 a.m. on Cliff Central. People say we're stuck in the 80s, like it's a bad thing.
Yo, I put it like wow. This that sound. These oaks don't work hard like me. I hope they know by now.
That's a good show. That the MK.
Oh yeah,
show. It's a very good show.
I've heard good things. Apparently, like
It's a good
it's
show.
like very little sports happens. It's literally like Oprah with a little bit of sports, like that much sports, and like everything else is like life lessons and like all this hectic stuff. It's the vibe.
Yeah, and if you'd like to subscribe, join us on Cliff Central Sport on YouTube. There is a situation developing. James Ilsley has missed gym today, and we will tell you more about what that means for him. He's in for a massive, massive cost. But you can catch
Fafalali.
that. Oh yeah, he's in some big money troubles. He will be eating beans and toast for January because he's going to have to pay me back. But we will talk about that. 12 to 2 p.m. of course, on Cliff Central Sport. Go and like, share, subscribe, be a friend, tell a friend. Lebang, before we get into your dilemma of how good-looking South African women are, which you are a part of, you're in that whole mix. Is
Yes,
Life with
correct.
Lebang is a show that's on.
Yes.
You're doing it. Where can people catch it? What's it about?
So Life with Lebang is every Thursday from 9 a.m. till 10 a.m. And it's really like a lifestyle show. So those of you who know, I'm like a mother of 4 tiny humans. So I really unpack like the parenting as a young woman living in South Africa and just like the daily struggles that I experience. And then on the other side of the show, I literally chat to some of the most awesome people who are living a life that I wish all South Africans could live, which is being selfless. I speak to people who own soup kitchens. I speak to people who tutor kids for free. I speak to people that literally give of themselves. And that part of the show is called This Is Us, because actually like we're trying to really shed some light on just some of the good vibes. You know, we see so much bad news in the media all the time. So yeah, my show is just really like spreading light on that positivity, on some of the better things, you know, just to brighten up your day and just give you a bit of hope. You know, being South African is tricky. It's tricky. Sometimes it's like,
not-
oh yeah, this feels so good.
It's not for sissies.
Exactly. So definitely Life with Lebang every single Thursday on Cliff Central from 9 to 10.
Mbulelo,
Yeah.
you're frozen
No,
there.
that's awesome.
Oh,
So you can
there
catch it
you're
there.
back.
Oh, maybe it's just maybe it's a cold heart. I see what you're saying. That could be true in the literal and the figurative sense. So Lebang, you were saying you were. By the way, a lot of people coming on. Obviously, if you're just joining now, you're thinking, "Where's Gareth Cliff?" This is called the Gareth Cliff Show. It is still called that. It is the GCS, but Gareth is away for a little bit. He will be. He's in an unnamed location, just recharging the batteries, but he'll be back next week. So, Lebang, you in the line, ladies.
Yes.
Good
So
lookingness.
yes, yesterday I am auditioning for a commercial, and there's like a bunch of other people there and a range of people. So everybody that's there is obviously auditioning for whatever role. So I'm there. You know, it's just me, myself, and I. The group of people in front of me is like 3 middle-aged Afrikaans gay guys who are just killing it. They're sitting there having fat chats, looking amazing, sounding amazing. And for me, this is like really the first time I've, you know, been exposed to. So I'm quite intrigued. I'm looking at them. I'm like, whoa, this is cool. When I look to the left, it's like 2 of the most Zuluist people you'll meet. Like,
Zuluist.
yeah, tall, present, you know, deep accent. You can hear that these ones are from right in the heart of KZN. They don't speak a drop of English and they could care less to. On that side of the room are these beautiful girls who are like early 20s. You can see they're young. They've got long dreadlocks. Others have like huge afros. Just this range of people. And, you know, I sat there and I'm like, this is South Africa.
Yeah,
This is
it's
exactly
so
us. We are
awesome.
all so different and so beautiful within our differences. There's no one term to say, what does a South African look like? Or
No,
what is this?
or sound
They-
like, yeah.
You can't because we all just like have our energies and our vibes, you know. And when you put that together, guys, I wanted to cry yesterday. It was so beautiful. I was like, yo. And at the same time, everybody in that room was still able to relate. So it wasn't like I'm here I'm not talking to you, I don't feel you. I can still talk to you and I can relate to you because there's something that still brings us together. Oh, it was just so beautiful. I should have actually captured that moment, but I was just so deep in it. It was lovely.
You've captured
Now,
it
you
in
said
your head,
energies
which is
there.
the most important part.
Yeah, that is
It was
important.
just
You said
nice,
energies
man.
there. I've got more stones here. Obviously, Miss Mulholland, who was on the show the other day,
Yes.
Jasmine Mulholland sent, and I now have more chakra alignment available for
Crystals.
people. So that's that's one. So we've got to manifest a different energy. I'm the guy for you in the Cliff Central Studios. Obviously, a good feng shui for you amateurs out there.
Yes, very
You need a
good.
good feng shui. You got to move the
Setting the
furniture
mood.
sometimes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And he's not even lying.
Incredible.
There's like a
So I
box
hear you
here.
there. And
Yeah, that's
there
got
is.
all his
There is.
things.
I'm
Yeah, it's
real
like
about it. Yeah, that stuff. Move it
Yeah,
around. It's
that
going to make a
stuff.
difference if you just burn a herb. It'll get rid of. Yeah. Okay. I mean, let's not get into it. It's a Friday. Francois Retief says, speaking of mixed pot in SA, I'm Afrikaans, guys, and according to my DNA analysis, I was 5% North African, 2% Nigerian, and wait for it, 0.8% Nepalese. I mean, goodness. Now that is a South African. We are a mixed pot, huh?
You know what I love
Francois
about
Retief.
these DNA tests is that as evolution continues, eventually we're all going to be the same mix of everything. It's all going to eventually be one race, one origin, which is amazing.
Yeah.
That is, you know what's amazing, Leigh-Ann, something which you wanted to talk about is there's a term in life called from what is it, out of the pan into the fire, right? And there was a man who was trying to escape something and got eaten by piranhas. Like
Yeah, so
what-
let's start with asking you how your day is going, because if you're complaining about something this morning, then you really have no rights to complain. But yeah, this guy was fishing with friends. I think it was in South America. I must bring up the story. I'll bring it up as I'm speaking.
It was in the Amazon.
In the Amazon. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
He fishing with friends, and all of a sudden there was this massive swarm of bees. And if ever you've been exposed to something like that before, you literally run for your life. Never mind the cows in KZN. But he and his friends scattered, and thank goodness there was a body of water nearby, because that's the best place to go, is to just get into the water and stay under for as long as you can. So that's what they all did. And when his friends got to the shore, they noticed that he was missing. And yeah, he was later found eaten by piranhas. I'm sorry.
Sure.
He was later found eaten by piranhas. So yeah, I mean, talk about being stuck between a rock and a hard place, you know?
The first thing I want to know is, why are they fishing in the middle of the Amazon as grown men?
People have got to live.
In the middle of the Amazon. That's where you're going to choose to fish.
They were either, you know, looking for food sources or just having fun as men going on a fishing trip. But yeah, the bad things that can happen. You know, if you thought sunburn was an issue, not there. That's the least of your worries.
Sure.
I can't think of a worse way to go.
To be clear, the piranhas didn't kill him. Apparently, he drowned. Apparently, he drowned, and then the piranhas fed on him afterwards. And also, let's be clear. Let's not shame the piranhas here as well, because piranhas are actually there aren't any cases of them known cases of them having eaten people alive. They've never killed anyone before. But they do.
They aren't one for homicide.
Feed on you once you're gone. They're there. They're like the hyenas of the world.
No, I mean, was it Demi Lovato who said it's not aliens, it's extraterrestrials? So if we're giving rights now to beings that we don't even know exist. We've got to think about things we know exist, which is piranhas. And I certainly, and I'm with you, Leigh-Ann, because I love nature. I won't have piranhas being put in the same boat as, oh my God, the guy who shot, what's her name in the foot, Megan Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez. So I don't want piranhas being put in the same lane as Tory, right? Absolutely not. I don't know if you've heard the
piranhas
story.
have rights too.
They do. They do. Je suis piranha, as you know, as we were saying for all of the other people. Are you kidding me? So wow. This is amazing.
Yeah, it's a bad day. It's a bad day. He shouldn't have gone fishing that day. He should have listened to his wife and just cleaned the garage, you know?
Yeah, and honestly, just not hopped onto the boat and right into the Amazon with his boys. And if you think about it, it's like it's a triple whammy. It's like there's bees. Okay, cool. Already like, okay, yeah, it's a swarm of bees. What are you gonna do? And then there's now you have to jump in the water and swim.
And drown.
Hopefully you can swim.
Piranhas. Yeah.
But then you drown and then you get chowed by piranhas. I think it was his time. It was his time. Like God just wanted to take him because that's a lot. He was better off just getting bitten by the bees. That's it. And just getting stung and just dying.
God was like, damn, I missed. Let me try something else. Damn, let me try something else.
Got him.
Shame. May his soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
R.I.P. But God needs stuff to do as well. He's been around for a long, long time. I mean, there's only so much Sudoku you can do, you know?
Yeah, look. So Tory Lanez a couple of months ago was like in the news for apparently having shot
Tory
Megan Thee
Lanez?
Stallion.
Tory Lanez some people.
is a Canadian rapper / singer. And he obviously became very popular in the past couple of years because he's just like really talented and really cool. But things got a little bit messy. You know, like with these rappers, there's just always something. So things got a little bit messy. Him and Megan Thee Stallion, who at the time was his friend, they were just like having too much fun and making too much money. These people are kids. They're like 26, 27, around there. So these kids are out there, night out on the town. And I remember specifically watching a video like of helicopter footage where the cops had stopped them. And Megan Thee Stallion was like basically crawling out of the car because she was bleeding. So the cops are like, yo, why are you bleeding? What's going on? I think, something's up. And the cops arrested the guy right there and then because he had apparently shot her. So Tory Lanez is now in custody or whatever because he had apparently shot her. And then a couple of weeks later, she released a video saying that, you need to be careful about who you hang out with because some people are, they're not going to be happy for you and they're going to mess you up. So, yeah, Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion in her feet. And now, he could go to jail for like 23 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not for shooting her in the foot. It's also for having illegal handguns in his car. So, yes. Tory Lanez, these people with money. I mean, sometimes you have to ask yourself, like, should we put a cap on money to
boredom.
Intelligence ratio?
That's what it is. It's their
right?
boredom.
Like,
once
they're bored.
Rich. Yeah.
And they're young.
Well, it's not an excuse to shoot someone in the foot. I think, listen, yesterday we made a rule on the MKT show. Don't shoot your girlfriend in the foot, right? And certainly don't shoot her in both feet. And then another rule. Don't shoot anyone's girlfriend. Like, don't shoot anyone's girlfriend at all. I think that's a pretty solid rule, don't you?
Or anyone.
Yeah, just don't shoot anyone.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't want to start getting caught up in don't shoot anyone because I don't know what the other dude did to you. But don't shoot your girlfriend. Because,
okay, but don't shoot.
I don't know. Again, life's not perfect. You know
just
what I mean?
don't.
Don't do it.
Stop.
Oh man.
Well, I'm just saying. Stuff happens. Lebang, I've noticed this morning you sound a little bit like you're coming from hell a little bit. Are you one of these hay fever people? I've never understood it, right? And I'm shocker. I'm not exactly Mr. Sensitive, right? And I know that's a shock, so I'll let you take that in for a second. I've never had any allergies or whatever. So whenever people go, my hay fever's acting up, in my mind, I always immediately go, oh, jeez, bloody hell, toughen up. But it's actually a real thing. So
it is a real thing.
Are you in the hay fever game right now?
So I think I'm going through a thing where like the weather, I'm not responding well to the fact that the sun is shining, but it's also raining. And then it's a little bit windy, but the sun is still shining. Like I don't really respond well to that. And this morning at around like 2:00, I kind of just woke up because my nose was completely blocked. And now I'm breathing through my mouth. Now my mouth is dry. And I don't have a cup anywhere, so I can't even drink water. I have to literally get up and go to the bathroom, put my mouth under the freaking tap. It was just, it sucked. And the only bottle like in the vicinity was my daughter's milk bottle. I literally contemplated. I'm like, should I just empty out this milk bottle? I was like, should I just empty out this milk bottle and just like, because I can't keep going to the sink to drink this water. So to answer your question, yes, I think like there's a bit of like sinusy / hay fevery energy going on, but it's not just me. I really feel like there's something happening like in the air. And I know I spoke about it a few weeks ago, but I'm seeing it now more and more. We generally are most of us going through some, and we're not all you, Mbulelo. Not all of us are gymming every day, eating fruits every day, healthy, 101, what. Like we just living life and enjoyment, fast food, whatever we want. So when we get a little bit sick, it's like, man, this sucks. So yeah. To answer your question, yes, I do have tissues.
Carla van der Westhuizen has an interesting fact for us on the comments, Mbul.
Ooh.
All right. Carla van der Westhuizen says the pollen count in Gauteng this week is up by like 200%. Listen, I'm also, as much as I said what I said, listen, it's a real thing, right? People are sounding nasally. It's happening. Now, Leigh-Ann, a sleeping Jesus, would that help Lebang at all, or is that purely for apnea?
It's purely for apnea. All it's doing is shoving air down your throat to keep your throat open.
Lebang, I tried.
Oh, well, it's okay. Nothing, a bit of allergics can't fix.
Lebang, I tried. I'm allergic. But is it a nightmare world, hey? Like, again, for not everybody has allergies. Are you just, literally, does it feel like you can't breathe?
No, it's just like I wake up and my nose is blocked and I can only breathe through my mouth. But because I'm breathing through my mouth, it's just dry. It's chaotic. It's so unpleasant. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Like, don't.
And that's even a mild case. I look at my mom who suffers terribly from allergies. Like they have to be careful of what trees are in the garden. They've had to cut down certain trees. But it affects her eyes badly, so it gets to a point where for about a week she can't even open her eyes because they're burning so much and just swollen shut. It can get really, really horrible, and then also affecting your lungs as well. So you'd need like steroid asthma pumps and things.
Yeah, so I studied 2 years of genetics, right? And it's one thing it's given me an appreciation for is how fickle the human condition is, actually. So everything you guys are saying, it's like, listen, you
like
are
a candle in the wind.
The great Sir Elton John, the great Sir Elton John says she did live her life like a candle in the wind. What a legendary guy.
We could go at any moment.
And he can't go to Zimbabwe as well. He could go at any moment, but do not go to Zimbabwe, Elton John.
Yep. Sorry.
Yeah, we don't, like, honestly, don't care how much of a rocket man you are. That is one place they are not interested in. He's just a legend, right? So obviously being gay, not a genetic defect, is not, we don't want to connect those two. Being gay is great. Do your thing. But hay fever, that is a genetic thing. Sleep apnea, that is a genetic thing. And that must be a while. So Leigh-Ann, now that as I'm talking, I'm thinking...
Do not laugh, Mbulelo.
No, sorry, I had to compose myself there. When you are sleep apnea-ing at night with the sleeping Jesus, let's just say I'm your partner. Am I now a part of the sleeping Jesus mix, or are there other solutions?
It's so quiet that you don't hear a thing. What's your actual question?
What's sleeping
Jesus?
No,
I'm just thinking, if you had a Lebang, I'm glad you said that. We'll come back to your face is excellent there, Lebang. I want to come back.
It's a ventilator. So it's a CPAP.
But hold on, Leigh-Ann. I want to finish off on boyfriend. I'm sleeping next, or girlfriend. You're entitled to have you want next to you. What's my world now? You're turning sleeping Jesus a rotating thing. Can I hear it at all?
It's not rotating, Mbulelo. It's a mask sitting on your face. Imagine a person on a ventilator in a hospital. The mask doesn't move. It just sits there and shoves air down your throat. but it's the machines now are so sophisticated, and they have
Okay.
these silicone mats which cover
Yeah.
any opening. And if I could give you the sound of what it would sound like sleeping next to me, it's like this. It's nothing. It sounds like I'm breathing normally.
It's actually a bit erotic. I kind of like it now that I think about it. That was
But
quite erotic.
ASMR.
Yeah, no, I quite liked it. Hey, yeah, no, good for your boyfriend. Who's coming? Leigh-Ann. Leigh-Ann, hey, hold on. I'm going to get these rocks into my hands. And if I know one thing about rocks that are colored differently, they will bring a new energy. 2022, Leigh-Ann, the man of your dreams will come to you. I'm touching the green rock now. This is the green of...
Is that the man of your
opening
dreams
gates.
rock?
It is. It opens gates.
Right.
Gates to where? To the mole. Which mole?
But the thing
Leigh-Ann
is,
mole.
Mbulelo, I don't know if I want someone to come into my life. That's the thing.
Okay. Well,
What?
You know?
I hope they come into your life and they're great and it changes your mind, because love is a great thing, isn't it?
Mm.
It
We're
is,
all
and I'm a
bits of-
romantic at heart, and I genuinely am waiting for my prince to come. But
Awesome. I hope it's
I
in
thought the other
2022.
day, if my prince does come, and let's get our minds out the gutter, but if he does come, then I don't know if I'm going to be willing to open my door, get your minds out the gutter again.
Yeah. No,
It's too easy.
Listen, be open to it, Leigh-Ann. I'm holding rocks, for goodness sake. Be open to it.
The green rock. Like
Yeah.
Leigh-Ann, the thing is about like love from my experience, and I've got very little in my 31 years of life, but it's like it comes at you when you're not planning it. So if you sit and you say, you know what, I'm looking for love, I want this, I want that, chances are your energy is going into finding a person that doesn't really exist. You know what I mean? But if you just
No,
kind of
exactly.
like chill and just let things happen, you could just fall in love with someone tomorrow and elope and we'll never see you again.
And also,
Unfortunately, I'm experience in that regard too has burnt me, because I wasn't looking for anything. Someone amazing came into my life and it ended horribly. So I'm still
It ended in
I'm still
tears.
like,
so actually, they
I
weren't
don't
that
know.
amazing. They weren't that amazing. It's good advice
Yeah.
to Ryan, is because they're amazing up front doesn't mean. But Leigh-Ann, the one thing I've learned about you is you are an extremely kind person. And, you know, as much as I don't have pets, as you can always tell, you can get a gauge on people, how they treat animals, sort of their natural setting. Because
I mean, I
you
eat
don't
them
have to
too,
be nice.
but
No, hey, I'll eat a cow. Listen, we will go for steak. Leigh-Ann, I will let you know. Let's go for a steak. Maybe bring your cats to watch. If they don't behave, this will be you very soon.
give them some steak.
But you're a very kind person, so I think you'd be an awesome person for somebody who's looking to be with somebody kind. That's
Yeah,
an
no,
awesome
look,
trait.
I
So
can
I hope it happens to you.
I can really, I can love hard. I can treat a person really well.
Yeah.
I have plenty of space for that in my life.
Awesome. And I hope it happens for you. I really, you know what, Leigh-Ann, 2022,
Yeah.
let's all manifest it. Plus, I'm a Taurus, so that means something to crystal people.
Please put the orange crystal into your hand with the green one. That's the one for money, I think.
Ah, okay. Yes, it is the
Yeah,
one
it
for money.
needs-
I'm
it
rubbing
needs
it
to
now with
be
my
a guy. Listen, if a really kind, rich guy comes into my life, I might consider it.
Emphasis on
saying?
rich.
Yeah, actually, if we could just get that right, because language is important. If a really rich, kind guy comes into
Yes.
your life, she did. And speaking on that note, right, we were talking about whether we should shoot some people. Lucky Matlapeng says, so I shouldn't shoot my shot. Now, to you two ladies, you said you shouldn't shoot anybody. I'll let you answer. So Lucky now mustn't shoot his shot because you guys said he mustn't shoot anyone.
Lucky, you can shoot your shot. You can slide into DMs. You can like pictures. You can comment on pictures. You can shoot your shot. The only thing you're not about to shoot is another human being with a gun. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Don't be weird. Don't be like, ugh. Nah.
So what are you thinking there? Go Becky Chele, shoot to kill. If you're going to shoot to kill.
Go hard. Go hard. Go big.
in.
Go big
But
when it comes to love.
Lebang, you've just brought up something interesting. In the dating dimension, it's a whole new world. There used to be a time where, we meet each other. You meet her, you see her at the bar, Meg Ryan, Tom Hanks moment, obviously, blah, blah. You walk over. Some of us don't look like Tay Diggs, so it hasn't always been an option for us. You know, we just go. So I have two particularly handsome friends who I used to go out with. In fact, it's always been my tactic, even when I lived overseas. But in South Africa, I have two particularly handsome friends who I don't really like that much as people, but I've seen the benefits of hanging around handsome people.
So they're not your friends.
Well, they're a proxy. They're a proxy,
When
a
it
means to an
suits
end,
you.
if you will. Yeah. So, but the DMs thing's a big thing, right? I've got female friends telling me just their DMs are on fire. So is that, Leigh-Ann, is that like just a real world, hey?
What was the question?
About
There's a
DMs.
lot.
People sliding in the DMs. Yeah, don't worry about me using people as
Oh yeah, that definitely happens. But it's
does.
usually very short-lived because the opening line is everything. And if it's like, "Hey, sexy," it's done. We're done.
It's cap. Yeah. And these days, it's like somebody trying to coerce you to get into Bitcoin. So it's like,
Yeah,
just
there's not much
stop.
chance.
Yeah.
It's like going into Middle America with a vaccine mandate. It's not going to happen.
Listen, I hear you. If you're going to get into Bitcoin, let's be very clear. It doesn't need to be some douchebag on WhatsApp. We got Sean from Revix. He's actually a great package because he's one of the most handsome people to ever live. But preceding that, he's actually got a CFA qualification. And if you're going to do Bitcoin, do it through Revix. Just call Sean. It's going to be worth your time as eye candy. And then he's also incredibly smart as well. He's got every single CFA qualification you can imagine. And he's in the game. So he's not going to scam you. All right.
He's good people's.
Great, Sean. Now somebody else who's in a scam. By the way, so obviously, Leigh-Ann, I know you were at a cycling race, which is more adjacent to doing crazy stuff. We're going to be joined now by a man who is living that lifestyle. Our guest coming up is a guy called Gavin Sinclair. Gavin is an extreme adventurer, motivational speaker, life coach, and recipient of the Purple Hearts SA Award on the 1st of October. He received that award. He embarked on a 1,000-kilometer adventure from, and it's so important for people to hear this. Gqeberha. I don't want to hear Gqeberha anymore.
Gqeberha.
Oh no. Gqeberha.
Gqeberha.
From Gqeberha to Cape Town to launch BrandMed's Centro P well-being program. So with that, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome Gavin Sinclair on. Gavin, how are you doing, sir?
Yes, good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me on your show. I'm very well, thanks. I arrived back in Cape Town from my 31-day run yesterday at about 20 past 11.
Jeepers. You look like you're in an atrium there, by the way. Great setting there that you've got behind you. Looks very peaceful.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Yeah, no, I'm back now in Joburg. I flew to Joburg yesterday afternoon, so I'm happy to be back in Johannesburg.
Yes, I mean, but let's get into it, right? Leigh-Ann, on to your left on screen, was saying she was in a mountain bike race a couple of years ago. Lebang's a lady, so she's obviously. We've lost Gavin, but you, Lebang, you in the health lifestyle because you've got children,
He's
5 children.
again.
That is a full on work.
Yeah, he ran back to the airport.
Yeah, 1,000 kilometers, not enough. 1,500 Ks, says Gavin. We'll get him back, but. Listen, there's these types of people who do these things, right? I mean, I'm fortunate enough to kind of know a few of them and be quite close with people that do these adventures. Is that like 1,000 kilometers? Like, I don't know if people know how long that is if you were walking it. He was doing it with a 15-kilogram pack on his back.
Yeah, that's something else.
It's like it's like asking me what I would. It's like asking me what I would do with 349 million rand as opposed to 349 billion rand. I don't know if I can actually. It's like, oh, it's minus 20 outside, and then tomorrow's going to be minus 40. It's still cold. It's still rich, and it's still far. I can't draw the comparison.
Yeah, it is wild. Let's see if we can get Gavin back. Gavin, are you back with us?
Yes, I am. Sorry about that. I have no clue what happened.
No, it's okay. Listen, you run 1,000 kilometers. Maybe we give you a break. You know what I mean? It's. I think if one person deserves a break, it's you. So, Gavin, I mean, let's get into why you did what you did and what pushed you to sort of take on this adventure. And I'd also love to know how you prepared for something like this.
So I signed up with Centro Wellbeing Program. That made me a brand ambassador this year to obviously drive the new launched the new program in conjunction with me doing a 1,000-kilometer run, solo unsupported. And in terms of training, I've been running for over 15 to 20 years, and over the last 6 years, I've been doing a few extreme endurance challenges, solo unsupported. So 2017, I cycled solo unsupported from Cape Town to Cairo. The following year, I ran a 4,000 kilometer through Africa over 7 months. And then I did an island swim up north of Mozambique, and then a beach run. And this year, I'm doing the 1,000-kilometer run on beach, trail, and on road from Gqeberha, I hope I pronounced that correct, to Cape Town, in conjunction with the Sinclair Wellbeing Program. And the idea around that is just to want to inspire the individual, the community, and the nation to make this 1 millimeter shift in terms of their own personal lifestyles. And even if you've been diagnosed with a chronic disease, that doesn't mean you should sort of stop and give up in terms of it's a second opportunity for you to be able to look at your life from a different perspective and a healthier perspective. I mean, for me, for instance, I have my own chronic challenges. I've got ADD, dyslexia. I suffer from chronic fatigue. I have an iron deficiency. But, I'm still out there and I'm doing these things, and I take on these epic challenges, and it's all about the head space. It's all about your mindset. So regardless of what you've been diagnosed with or told about, it doesn't mean that you must stop. It just means that you must focus more on, that you are able to do whatever you want to achieve in life. And it's the head space. It's really about your head.
Yeah. And I mean, it is such an interesting thing to me because I'm in your world, not quite as crazy as you are. And it's interesting to me, the mindset side of things, is you don't have to do this. Like most people don't do it, and you're leaning in and you've got all of these challenges, because we know every Tom, Dick and Harry's got an excuse, right? They do. Like people just do have their excuses. Is that when you encounter people with chronic illnesses, it's a whole different sort of beast that you're dealing with as a base level to just me getting up in the mornings. Is that for you? How do you approach every single day? Is it a daily thing mentally for you, or do you set bigger goals in order to break it down? I mean, 1,000 kilometers is not something you just roll out of bed to do, especially with a chronic fatigue syndrome. If I heard you correctly, do you plan it daily? How do you approach it mentally in order to be able to break it down like this?
So how I prepared to cycle from Cape Town to Cairo, it was literally just a few seconds. I just reverse engineered my finish line. So I just told myself I wasn't cycling to Cairo. It's as simple as that, meaning then you just enjoy each stage. The idea is to be presently, fully moment in the present, and then not worry about the end goal. I know they say you should always look at the end goal, but when you're doing things on a larger scale, it's just to be concerned and focus on each day. So you break it down into modular. It's the same as if you're running a 21K trail or road run. Just prepare in your mind that you're doing a 41K, and in some way it actually makes it easier, and before you know it, you've already done the 21K. So for me, on my run, I don't focus on the 1,000 kilometers. I focus on what I'm doing each day. So, for you to be able to run, and then you get to a stage that day after running 6 hours or perhaps 8 hours if you were on the beach and it was very technical, trying to get over rock and stuff, and to get to your stage and then just think, well, you've still got another 900 kilometers to go. That would be quite challenging mentally. But the idea is not to think about you running 1,000 kilometers. The idea is about enjoying what you're doing each day and just taking it into modular stages.
Man, guys, I don't know if you have any questions before I fire away at Gavin.
Sure, it's just amazing. As someone who has ADHD myself, I can imagine that trying to focus on that one goal is really, really difficult. But it can also be quite therapeutic as well, in the fact that you just need to do what you've got to do that day and get it done.
Sure. I mean, it is also very liberating, the fact that you can achieve what you set your mind to. Um, and, for me to go out there and do what I'm doing, it has so many benefits. And, some of us, we tend to live in our heads more than in the present. And there's a lovely guy by the name of Eckhart Tolle, where he teaches you about living in the present moment and being fully present and living outside of your head. So, doing these challenges for me, I get to learn and grow about myself on every level. And I get to be able to inspire and motivate people as well, and to be able to speak on a stage about this as well. So for me, it's really about the core is to make a difference and to inspire the individual out there that, anything is possible if you believe in it. And that's the key. It's just really about your headspace. And if you really want it, you can achieve it, no matter what it is. And just to pursue what sets your soul on fire. Chase your dream, no matter how crazy it is. 6 years ago, I stepped out of the corporate world into this professional adventuring world, and it's working. And, I've got amazing brands that sponsor me and stuff, and I'm getting to do what I love most, and that is to push myself physically and mentally, and I get to inspire people.
And when you do that, ultimately, I don't care who you are. If you are consistent, right, and you operate at a level, and you get to people like Bezos and these top guys who have been turned into demigods, they operate in terms of efficiency and execution. They're operating at about a 90 to 95% execution rate for about 10 years is the numbers I've read. But people reward you, right? And society will reward you when they see consistency. And Gavin, you were rewarded with the Purple Heart Award in South Africa a while ago. Can you tell us the story behind that, and what the award means actually, and then what does it mean to you?
So when I started doing what I did 6 years ago on my Cape Town and my 4,000 kilometer run and my island swim, I was an ambassador for missing children in South Africa. So it was really about creating awareness and raising funds for the organization, which is part of child trafficking as an activist. So over those years, the Purple Heart of South Africa recognized me for my humanitarian work and awarded me that. So in terms of, for me personally, it was a lovely feather in my cap and a lovely award to be recognized for doing that. So that's what the award was for. It was for my humanitarian work over the past few years.
And I mean, you are living your essence, right? Lebang, go ahead.
Yeah, Gavin, I'm curious about like some of the stories that you experienced, like on all your journeys. Like, are there some people that you met that were just like, that blew your mind? Were there any incidents that stood out, throughout everything that you've done? Like, what were some of the moments that you can share with us that like will always stay with you?
I've got so many stories to tell you. My head is so full, as you can imagine. I mean, my Cape Town, Lake Turkana, meeting tribal people along the Lake Turkana, running out of food, water, sunburnt, my skin up like a lobster, gesturing for water, meeting the most incredible people along the way with the most amazing stories, and literally meeting all these people along my journey inspired and motivated me to keep going. I mean, I can tell you so many stories of being chased, malaria, having diarrhea, having tummy bugs, dealing with mechanical issues, breakdown of the bike, physical issues, and just the most incredible journey that you go on personally as well along this, and the media that follows you and supports you, and all the people that sort of help you along the way to get to where you're going. It's been incredible. So a big shout out to just everyone out there over the last 6 years who have assisted me and who support me on this whole journey. So it's been just incredible. But I've just done this run now, and I've taken some photos, and the people have mentioned I should do a coffee book, and definitely consider writing a book. This is my 5th challenge now that I've done, so I should certainly look at publishing a book.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And, everything you've just said now has obviously made Leigh-Ann, Lebang, and the rest of us want to do it. Who doesn't want a little bit of diarrhea? You don't want to be, who doesn't want to be dehydrated in Mali?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Like, that's where
I
Gavin
don't know if I'm up for
shines.
it.
Yeah, no. Gavin, you are
Not for you
representing
guys,
us.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll cheer from the side. But having heard all of that, a lot of people would go, just like Lebang has said, is, hey, we'll cheer you on. Good luck with, good luck with the dehydration thing. Is what would make you leave the comfort of the corporate world, where it's very easy for people to hide in the corporate world and in normal work.
Comfort
team
and corporate in
situations.
the same sentence.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's air-conditioned offices. It's,
Okay.
like you get a salary at the end of the month. It's very
Medical
comfortable. Most
aid.
people are cushy. Yeah, they're like, and you can also hide, right? The nice thing about what you're doing and why I love adventures is that when all the fanfare goes away, when all of that stuff goes away, like you said, it's just you now. Nobody runs 1,000 kilometers for you. Every step is just you. You can have as many Instagram followers as you like. Your sport is honest. What you do is honest. It is just you. What would make you leave the relative comfort of corporate and choose the harder path?
Well, I was just wanting to be more authentic and more honest with myself, more real, and to be able to feel more connected with myself. And there's nothing about corporate, it's just about me personally. I wasn't feeling fulfilled and everything around me. And I felt there was a different purpose. I had a purpose in life, and that purpose was making a difference in a different way. So for me, it was about then using my skill and my ability, which I've always known about, which was physically and mentally. I had the stamina to be able to do things on an extreme level. As a child, I used to be very extreme, doing BMX racing and motocross racing and cycling. So I was very active from a child, and I always had that within me. So I just then used those skills and those skill sets to turn what I do and what I love most, and just go out there and do adventuring, and then just do it for a good cause. So I signed up with Missing Children at that time, and it fulfilled me. It really made me connect with myself again. And on the Cape to Cairo, it also made me learn more about myself and appreciate things like water. When you're in Africa, you don't just turn on a tap and have water. You don't even have electricity. So and sometimes you don't have water for a few days. So it was just, I felt like I needed to inspire myself again, and I felt I wasn't living a life of purpose where I was making a difference. And that's really what the core of what it was. And of course, it has so many other benefits to it. And yes, it is extremely challenging, but it is as much extremely rewarding. And the idea is just, have faith in yourself, know your ability. It doesn't have to be on such a large platform. I mean, just start doing walking every morning and stuff, and just start moving and looking at your nutrition, and just looking at your lifestyle, because at the end of it, our health is the most important, and that's very much linked to happiness. Because I mean, if you are fit and healthy, surely you're going to feel happier. And right now, the nation, we're going through quite a few challenges with the past, and there's a lot of pressure on us at the moment. And in this, at least let's look more at our lives from a more holistic point of view and a healthier point of view, because running and moving, it releases endorphins, and it's just so good for us. And the thing is, once you lose your health, that is it. You no matter how much money you have in the world, you cannot fix that.
Yeah, I listen. That is true. The health thing is very true.
Yeah. Gavin, I need to ask, because like a couple of weeks ago, I had food poisoning. So it just resulted in like a lot of like messiness occurring, and it was not pleasant. So as you said, when you're traveling in Africa, things like running water, it's not something that you can just have access to. If you are in the middle of nowhere and you're suffering from diarrhea for whatever case, where do you go? Like, what do you do? I'm just trying to understand, because if I was able to just like kind of just go to the toilet, now you're literally in the middle of nowhere.
So you just do what you do. You just go to your bush. So you just go anywhere, and you just let your system do what it needs to do, and give it that time, because your body heals anyway. So yeah, you just go to your local bush.
I mean,
that's
if
what
I
it
think
is.
of if I think of all the things that I need when I'm food poisoned or just feeling really ill, I need the room to be a certain temperature. I need my hair to be tied up. I need my certain loo. I need a certain bucket. I need a certain drink. You know,
chilled to a certain temperature.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean that's a good point. Again, I think it goes back to my point, is that our lives are pretty cushy, right? And we very rarely get to be primal. And for me, the reason I connect and I really love what you're doing is that a little piece. I mean, you are a wild man. It's a whole nother level. But I engage a little bit in more mountain stuff. Is that primal side of us? If you deny yourself primal life, right, is that you are only living a part of being human, is what I believe. And part of your narrative was part of the salvation. There is the salvation in the suffering, whether you're religious or not. I believe that to be true. So I guess you're getting a wider spectrum of the human existence as well. Is people living in houses in the burbs only get to live it in a comfortable, narrow way. We are still wild, primal things. We are 98.3% genetically similar to a bonobo chimpanzee. We are only 1.7% away from a bonobo chimpanzee, for those who don't know. And that is a hardcore fact, whether you like it or not, is you are serving the primal side. So, Gavin, I think it's an awesome thing. And you're basically at the PhD level, but somebody wants to change their lives now. They're sitting somewhere, and sometimes it's not about money. Okay, fine, money is a thing, but sometimes it's just about people feeling trapped. I'm in a relationship. I hate my health. I hate where I am. I don't like what I see in the mirror. There's a whole spectrum of things. Is there anywhere where you could say on that day you thought enough is enough? What was going through your mind, and what's give me maybe, let's say, 3 simple things, it's very that everyone could do, like right now, that if they want to change their lives?
Well, firstly, I would say, if you talk about it, that's one thing, but you've got to take the action. You have to take that step forward. So less talking and more action. And I think we all.
So sorry. So let's start with that. Goal setting essentially is what you're talking about there, if I'm hearing you correctly.
I generally write down affirmations twice a day about what I want to achieve and stuff. So yes, it's good to write things down. But I think we also do get to a point and we complain and we sabotage ourselves. And we're not happy with our weight or whatever it is. We in a toxic relationship. We don't like our jobs and we complain. I think we all eventually get to a point where we decide to make that shift, that change in our lives, and then we do eventually take that step forward, that bold leap of faith. But I think what holds us back for a while is the doubt, and we sabotage ourselves. But what if? But I don't have enough money. But I don't have time. And that's we are so good at sabotaging as human beings. We love that. We love to play victim at times and stuff. And the point is, if you're unhappy and if you don't feel alive, that's so important, because life is so short. Chase your dreams. Do what sets your soul on fire, and go where you feel alive. And if you're unhappy in any situation or environment, change it, and you'll be okay. I think.
All right. So number one, write things down. I want to start there, Gavin. I just quickly want to make sure that people have something that everyone can practically. If you're above the age of 15, you can write mostly. Write it down. Whatever you want to do. If you want to Gavin, that's down the line. Write it down. I think that's a great place to start, right? Have a goal.
Write it in the morning and write in the evenings, and keep writing it down. Keep thinking about it as you write it down, and then it will pretty much it will resonate, and it will you will be able to then just put that into action, into place in your life. So yeah, definitely write these things down.
And then after you had that goal, right? Okay, I'm out. This is enough. Did you go and seek out the type of people you were looking for, or are you just an intrinsically driven person? Did you go and seek out 1 or 2 people and say, how did you do this? Or what was your process of stepping out of that old life? Because there has to be a transition period, I'd imagine. Did you go and, what was that like for you?
Well, one of the most important parts for me was when I made that transition, I believed I could do it. So I knew I could get to Cairo on a bicycle. So And that I didn't have all the answers. So one of the keys is you don't need to know everything when you make a change. You can know a few things, but things will unfold as you take that step forward. So don't hold yourself back because you don't have all the answers to things. We're not meant to have all the answers to things. And you can't have all the answers before you decide to do something. Otherwise, you just won't move forward. You'll be in your comfort zone. And comfort zones love to keep you there because it's a place of no growth. It's literally where you die. And the comfort zone wants you to stay there. It doesn't want you to move forward because then all the fear kicks in because we're driven by two things, happiness and fear. So you need to embrace fear, love fear, and let fear be your friend and use fear to your advantage. And whenever in life there's something that you feel scared of doing, do it because that's actually your intuition telling you you should be doing that. But then we choose rather the easy road. So whatever you feel that scares you the most, do that because that's where you're going to grow.
I love that. Okay, so for number 2, I'd wrap it up like this, where you can write it down as number 1. Number 2, embrace the learning curve. There will be a learning curve. When you change, I think, Gavin, if I'm hearing you correctly, there's a learning curve. Embrace it, right? And you have
Don't flatten the curve.
No, but still flatten the curve, but also embrace that flattened curve. There's a process to flattening the curve. I love that, Leigh-Ann. I love that. Don't flatten the curve. But embrace the learning curve. You have to. It's going to be painful, and you have to take absolute responsibility, right? There is no excuse. You cannot look to anybody else to say, my dad didn't wake me up. There is none of that. If you change, it's on you. So you've written it down. You're going to embrace the learning curve. Let's give them one more, Gavin. What else was a thing for you? So now you've decided, you've written it down, you've done the affirmations, you've now embraced that, hey, it's going to be painful. I will go to the pits of hell to make my transition. And maybe let's give them one more. This is super wise stuff.
So the idea would be, look, let's say you've been doing something for the last 10, 15, 20 years, a bad habit. Well, let's say you haven't really been doing exercise or something. And to undo what you've done for 15 years or 20 years, you need to take a 1 millimeter shift. You can't tomorrow all of a sudden stop smoking or stop drinking or all of a sudden lose all the weight and be in shape in a month. It's impossible. You've got to be realistic that your goals, and to undo something that you've been doing or living a certain lifestyle for a period of time, you have to be patient with yourself. But the underlying drive and fuel behind it is whatever it is that you're doing and you're writing down, make sure that it's actually what you really want to do in life, what sets your soul on fire, what you really are obsessed about, and then chase that dream. So for me, adventuring, pushing myself physically and mentally out there and living on the edge, that is what I love most. So it's going to fuel whatever your decisions are, as long as you are being authentic to yourself. And that's really, truly what you want to do in life. No matter how crazy it is, do what sets your soul on fire. Go where you feel alive. Life is too short. No regrets.
Yeah, no regrets. I absolutely love that. So a quick recap, write it down, embrace the process. And I think I really loved what you said on this last one. Be patient. You have to be patient. So Gavin, I want to maybe share something with you that a wise old lady who's in my life, a 95-year-old, when you said that word, be patient. And I always used to say, patience is a virtue. And she stopped me. She said, no. She calls me Junior. And she says, patience is a virtue of the extraordinary kind. Patience is a virtue of the extraordinary kind. So write it down, right? Embrace the process and be patient, because patience is a virtue of the extraordinary kind. And Gavin, you're an extraordinary human. I just want to tell you, you are an extraordinary human, showing what, oh my God, the unthinkable. Tell me, Gavin, where do we go to hold of you? You're an inspirational speaker as well. People may want to get in touch, and people are looking for inspiration. As you said, we need community. We need each other as people, but we need beacons of light like you, especially as South Africans in these times. Where do we get a hold of you, Gavin?
You can get hold of me on Gavin Sinclair Adventures on Instagram, and you can send me a message, or on Facebook, Gavin Sinclair Adventures. And Gavin is spelled with an E, Gaven Sinclair Adventures.
Gavin Sinclair adventure. I mean, you are
Adventures.
incredible. Gavin, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you with us, man. It's
Thank
really,
you so
really
much.
awesome. Yeah, and
Thanks,
look after yourself,
Gavin.
and we look forward to supporting you and you flying our flag high. So thank you very much, Gavin.
Appreciate your time. Thanks, and enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, and you too. Boy, oh boy, get a load of that
Sure.
guy, huh?
Yeah, what are you
Yeah.
doing with your lives?
Yeah, I don't know. Is it not easier to run away from a swarm of bees and get eaten by piranhas? But I like what he said about not focusing on the end goal all the time. And I think that's where it's difficult sometimes when we think, I said to you before, Mbulelo, I'd love for you to, I don't know, come and live with me for 3 weeks and get me on a certain path. But the whole time you're doing that, and the whole time you have a motivational person or somebody that you're looking up to, the whole time you're reminded of what the end goal is. And sometimes that can be daunting. You know, you're looking at Gavin and you're thinking, is the goal to cycle from Cape Town to Cairo? No, it's not. Stop looking at that and look at every day simply. So you kind of I need a fat Mbulelo to join me by my side and say, okay, this week we're going to lose a kilogram.
Yep.
And this week we're going to walk up a hill together. And, you know, instead of, I'm Mbulelo, this is what I look like, and this is what you're going to look like. Because to be reminded of that end goal every day, people think it's inspiring, but it can actually be destroying as well.
Yeah.
So I like what he said about try not to look at the end goal all the time. It's not always about that.
And also with the end goal being like the obsession, you kind of like get in on your head, like imposter syndrome can kick in at any moment. You suddenly start not believing that you can do it because it just seems too far away. And also think about like if the end goal is getting to the other side of the shore, or like you're swimming and then you just keep going. Once you're in the middle, you're sort of like you're stuck. You know, it's too far to swim back to the shore, or it's too far to go to the other side. You find yourself drowning. So it's nice to know that, you know, you don't always just need to focus on the finisher. Be there, be present, look around and say, you know what, I'm drowning right now. Let me just freaking swim day by day. Let me just swim. I'll see where I get, but you will get somewhere. So I like that as well. That was my takeaway.
Yeah, I know it's all. Hey, listen, there's a cool sports one that says nobody can eat a loaf of bread, and right? You can't bite into a loaf of bread; it's ridiculous. You chew it, but you can eat a sandwich, right? If you can eat it, you can eat a sandwich. 2 slices of bread, you can eat that, and that's how you got to do it. And the great Nick Saban says every day is a reckoning. So he's the coach of the greatest college football program, the Alabama Crimson Tide, and he says the reason why he's able to build dynasty after dynasty is every day is a reckoning. And I think we saw that with Gavin, right? He's saying every day is a thing for him. So as we leave, I think it's a great message, right, for everybody. Thanks to everyone who's joined us this morning. Obviously, Gareth, enjoy your time away. Gareth will be back next week. For those who don't know, he'll be back on Thursday, I believe, next week. But let's write those down. And I think it's a great message to take into the weekend, right? If you're looking for small changes, big changes, whatever it may be, Gavin's given us 3 great tips. We can all do this, right? Write it down. That's an awesome start. Embrace the learning curve. And then the third one, which is my favorite, and I need to learn this because I am not a patient person. The third one is be patient. And if Rosie, if you're listening, and I know you do sometimes, she has taught me patience is a virtue of the extraordinary kind. So peace, love, and happiness to you all. Thank you, Leigh-Ann. Thank you, Lebang, for joining me. We'll be back on Monday. It's been absolutely awesome. Have a terrific time, and be loved. Stay loved this weekend, and do what you can for the man or woman next to you. It's been awesome to be with you. The GCS is out.
Bye.